Now on CoastTV News.
Leveling the playing field, a rental tax change coming to Fenwick Island next year.
Dead snow geese on Broadkill Beach, why DNREC isn't going to test like it has previously.
Trump meets with world leaders and tries to keep the peace.
And we have wicked winds that's pushing in, going to cause some serious problems and a serious drop in the wind chill.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Renting a dream vacation spot in Fenwick Island. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with new rental taxes and tax rates coming in Fenwick Island.
Right now, short-term rentals pay a higher tax percentage overall than hotels do in Fenwick Island. But starting next year, the town is making a change, and the goal is to even things out. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zappe is live in Fenwick. Kevin, taxes will shift depending on where you stay.
Maddie, as of right now, hotels in Fenwick Island have to pay a total of 11.5% in taxes. But as for short-term rentals, they have to pay a little bit more, paying 12.5%. Now that will all change starting next year. Rolling your suitcase into a hotel for a vacation getaway is no longer the only option. Short-term rentals have exploded in popularity, something Thomas Carroll likes to use during certain vacations.
If it's like just me and my wife and the kids, probably a hotel, but if we're staying with a group of friends, probably a short-term rental.
In Fenwick Island, the trend is strong, with various options to choose from in town. This led to the state of Delaware to add a 4.5% tax on short-term rentals in 2025, which created a slight problem in Fenwick Island. Now, both hotels and short-term rentals are taxed by the state and Fenwick Island. Right now, hotels have to pay a total of 11.5% tax, while short-term rentals have to pay a 12.5% tax, giving hotels a financial about the change. Starting January 1st, 2026, the town will even out taxes, making hotels and short-term rentals both pay 12%.
That seems reasonable that they pay the same tax whether they're staying at a hotel or a short-term rental.
So whether you're taking in the ocean view from a short-term rental or enjoying your vacation from a hotel, Fenwick Island is making sure everyone shoulders the same tax burden. Now, according to the Fenwick Island mayor, their desire to change these taxes is all on the state changing to have their new short-term rental tax. And now they're making sure that everything is fair across the board. I'm Kevin Zappe, live in Fenwick Island, Coast TV News.
Ocean City will also see a tax hike starting next year, effective January 1st. The hotel rental tax rate in Worcester County will increase from 5 to 6%. This applies to short-term rentals that are 4 months or less. Also includes hotels, motels, apartments, and other places offering a place to stay.
Nearly a dozen dead snow geese were spotted along Broadkill Beach. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is in Broadkill Beach. Brandon, people were shocked today when they saw the dead birds.
Charlie, there's already been a confirmed case of bird flu up in Kent County earlier this month. DNREC says as for these dead geese along Broadkill Beach, they're not testing them for bird flu, but they're treating them as if they do have the disease. We spoke with one woman who was walking her dog here along Broadkill Beach. She says whether it was the bird flu or not, it's upsetting to see the geese in this condition.
It's a concern for the dogs and the people and really the whole ecosystem here, you know, so it's a very, I think, upsetting event to see.
DNREC says if you do not have to touch these geese, don't. But if you do, to always wear gloves and protection. Live on Broadkill Beach, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
And this brings us into our Coast TV poll. We want to know what worries you most about avian flu.
Let's take a look at the results so far, and you can see 79% say a farm outbreak, possibly that's spreading to chickens, other animals. 7% say wildlife deaths, 11% say pet exposure, 3% say human illness.
And we do have a comment from Tom in Virginia. He says, what worries me the most is how folks treat this disease like it isn't real or is some hoax being perpetrated on us.
If you haven't voted yet or left a comment, you could still do that, coasttv.com or our mobile app.
Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into the Lewis area. A nice sunset there.
Beautiful.
As we check in with our chief meteorologist, Paul Williams. And Paul, I hear cold's on the way.
I'll tell you something, Charlie. The winds are going to be a real problem this week. In fact, it's going to drop the wind chill factor to 12 on a couple of days, mornings in a row. I'm just giving you a spoiler alert up front. 2026 coming in on 12. All right, anyway, Lewis right now we're at 49. It's unusually warm right now, so I hope you enjoyed today, because today is a one-trick pony, I'm telling you. We're going to see the winds pick up momentum. That's a wind symbol, in case you can't quite make that out. Dropping down to 36 degrees by 9 o'clock. We're 8 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. Like I say, a one-trick pony. Enjoy it while it lasts, because we're at 50 right now in Redden, 49 in Long Neck, as well as Millsboro, and in Georgetown. However, we have a flow that's coming out of the west and will begin to shift out of the northwest that's going to introduce us to the cold that will stick around for the rest of the year and the beginning of the new year. We actually have high wind concerns throughout inland areas, Georgetown, Millsboro, Gumboro, and then along the shore, we're watching out for 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts as a possibility as well.
Paul, thank you. Grotto Pizza says it will host a fundraiser for Corporal Matthew Ty Snook on January 5th at all Grotto locations. Snook was shot and killed while working at a DMV just before Christmas. Grotto says 20% of all money raised on the 5th will be donated directly to the official fundraising efforts for the Snook family. The Rehoboth Beach Barbell Club is hosting an event honoring Corporal Snook as well. According to their Facebook page, Lift in Honor will be Saturday, January 17th from 10 to 2, bringing people together through powerlifting and fitness challenges. The club says all participants will donate directly to that official fundraiser that supports the young family.
And Trooper Corporal Snook will be laid to rest Monday, January 5th. His funeral will be at the University of Delaware's Bob Carpenter Center. State police say a public visitation runs from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m., followed by a memorial service and final honors. The interment will be private.
The Maryland Department of Transportation says it will temporarily close US 13 business between East Carroll Street and East Main Street in Salisbury. MDOT says it's part of work to fix the business bridge over the Wicomico River. Now, the closure begins 7 p.m. December 30th, which is tomorrow. It'll reopen, though, 6 a.m. the next day, weather permitting. MDOT says drivers should stay alert, slow down when you're going through work zones. Millions in federal funds remain uncertain for downtown Dover's revitalization. The Downtown Dover Partnership wants to reshape downtown by 2030, but $6 million they applied for is still up in the air. The group says they were informed they won't receive $1 million for the Mobility Center project that's already started, and they're waiting to hear if they'll get $5 million for a project at 120 South Governors Avenue.
Leaders say that the funding is critical to developing downtown and providing much-needed housing amid a statewide shortage.
The federal amount of $5 million will go for the philosophy we're building on, which is equitable development and ensuring that people at all levels of the economy can have access to good housing.
The Downtown Dover Partnership says it anticipates a response in January and will still pursue state and federal grants.
For a second straight day, President Trump holding a high-stakes meeting in an effort to bring peace. NBC's Julia Ainsley shows us what President Trump had to say about making peace on multiple fronts in multiple parts of the world.
President Trump taking on the role of peacemaker-in-chief, meeting today with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, saying it's time for phase 2 of his peace plan in Gaza.
As quickly as we can, but there has to be a disarmament, that we have to disarm with Hamas. So one of the things we'll talk about, certainly.
The fragile ceasefire has been in place since October, bringing an end to 2 years of fighting. As part of Phase 1, Hamas returned remaining captives and almost all bodies of deceased hostages. One is still missing.
We're doing everything we can to get his body back.
Phase 2 includes Israel withdrawing its troops from Gaza and Hamas giving up its weapons. Though the main topic of the meeting is the next steps to peace, President Trump had a warning for Iran.
Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them.
This is the second meeting with the head of state and as many days for President Trump. He sat down with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky yesterday at Mar-a-Lago, discussing ways to bring an end to the nearly 4-year-old war. Though Trump admitted some thorny issues remain, such as control of the Donbas region, Ukraine says it's willing to compromise. But Russia wants it all. And the nuclear plant, the largest in Europe, Russia has controlled it since 2022, but each side says they want it in any peace deal. Still, Trump sounded optimistic.
We have a couple of issues that we're going to get resolved, hopefully, and if we get them resolved, you're going to have peace.
But late this morning, Russia accusing Ukraine of sending 100 drones to target a residence belonging to Russia President Putin, and warning the actions will not go unanswered. Zelensky denied having a part in the attack and says Russia is lying to jeopardize negotiations. President Trump said the Russian leader told him about the attack this morning in a phone call. But despite that drone strike, Trump says they are getting close to a deal to end the war. Julia Ainsley, NBC News, Washington.
A 19-year-old figure skater perfecting her routine, how she's aiming for the 2026 Winter Olympics.
And it looks like we're going to have dangerously strong winds for the rest of the week. I'll show you what I'm tracking.
But first, pennies disappearing from circulation, how your change could soon change. Up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
After the U.S. Mint announced last month that new pennies would not be made for circulation, businesses are starting to see the change in their everyday transactions. Small businesses in Snow Hill and Berlin say a shift away from cash has already been happening for years, but the biggest adjustment will be for customers paying with dollar bills. Some stores, they've already started rounding to avoid having to deal with small change, and they expect that trend could grow as pennies become harder to come by.
Cash paying customers are great, but it's less and less. I think it's going to be something in the past. I've heard of other societies being cashless these days, so who knows, maybe the future for us.
Pennies already in circulation, those are still good.
Coming up next, Paul Williams in our Coast TV First Alert Weather Center with your full forecast after this.
You've often heard me refer to the winds as being a bit problematic. This is one of those weeks where it's just going to continue to be more than just a little thorn in your side, but something you just have to dress and prepare for, particularly as we get closer to Friday, because that's going to be, the witching hour of the big time winds. I'll show you what I'm talking about, and you'll understand why I'm acting so dramatic about it. In Rehoboth Beach, 49 degrees right now, and we're warm today. Today is the warm day. Today is the pick-me day of the entire week. Enjoy it while it lasts, because we're like 8 degrees to 7 to 8 to 9 degrees warmer now than we were just 24 hours ago. So we are in the 40s and even 50 degrees right now in Redden. Wind advisory, high wind concerns throughout all inland areas for Seaford, Cross Keys, Georgetown, Gumboro, Delmar. But we also have gale wind warning. So inland, we're talking about 35 mile per hour winds. Off the shore and out in the water, we're talking about 45, maybe even 50 mile per hour winds. And that's from Lewis to Ocean View, Ocean City, all the way down towards Chincoteague. And then on the other side, Deal Island, for example, over towards Cambridge. So it's going to be that kind of breezy everywhere. So nobody's going to escape the fury of this big time wind. And we have this cold front that's pushing through that's going to knock the temperatures right off of its pedestal, right into the 20s, and the wind chills will be in the teens. And we're talking lower teens too, by the way. Futurecast overnight, we're staying with relatively scattered cloud cover. We recorded a 41 mile per hour wind gust in Ocean City today, 37 in Georgetown. Now take a look at our expectations. For example, right across the board, 40 mile per hour winds for later tonight at 8 o'clock. It'll die down briefly, then it'll kick back in by mid-morning for Tuesday, 41 to 45 mile per hour winds. And that's everywhere, no matter where you go. Even as you take a look along the coast, we just have significant wind symbols that's going to be everywhere. Winds out of the west up to 40 miles per hour steadily, with gusts up to even 50. 36 for the high in Georgetown for tomorrow with strong winds. Strong winds and 38 for the high in Cambridge and 38 for the high in Oklahoma City, and still big time windy. So Tuesday morning, we start off clear, 29, feeling a lot colder than that. Then we'll go into the 30s. For Wednesday, we start off a little cloudy, and then the clouds will clear up by the afternoon, and we set up for the cold. The wind chill, 18 for Tuesday. Stay with me. Here we go. This is the big finish, so I don't want you to miss this, okay? 18 for Tuesday night, 17 for Wednesday. We warm up to 25 on Thursday, and then we drop down to 12. You caught that, right? 12 for the entire coast, 12. Whew, and we stay cold. By the way, your New Year's planner, bottom line is we're looking for 38 on New Year's Eve, 34 on New Year's Day, still staying real cold. Finally, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. I wanted to stretch that cold from Friday over into the weekend because that's how it's going down.
The 19-year-old figure skater Sarah Everhart from Northern Virginia is working to perfect her routine and qualify for the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan, Italy. Sarah took home bronze at the U.S. Championships this year in Wichita. She also won bronze at the Four Continents Championships in Korea. Now next month, the figure skating community will come together in St. Louis for the national championships. Those also serve as the final Olympic qualifiers.
It's just been a goal since I was a kid to go to the Olympics. It would be so much fun, and you'll forever be an Olympian.
The U.S. figure skating trials are being held in St. Louis January 6th through the 11th. And don't forget the Winter Olympics, they run February 6th through the 22nd, only here on CoastTV.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network, it's Governor's Challenge Day 4. At 5 p.m., Clinton Grace takes on Dream City. 6:45, Colonel Richardson faces off Seaford. At 8:30, it's the All-Star Experience. For your DSN Plus exclusives, more actions from the Governor's Challenge games taking place at the Wicomico County Civic Center. We have Y-High, UMES, and Salisbury Christian. Coming up, an unoccupied Hurlock home set on fire twice in one night. What firefighters say they found next on CoastTV News at 5.
An unoccupied home in Hurlock was intentionally set on fire twice within hours. That's according to the Maryland State Fire Marshal's office. Firefighters first responded Sunday night to Jones Village Road. Just after 4:20 Monday morning, crews returned to find the home fully engulfed. Investigators are looking to see who started the fire.
And a woman was arrested for arson in another fire, this one on Linden Avenue in Pocomoke. A Pocomoke City police officer, EMS, and volunteer firefighter arrived before firefighters did and rescued the victim. Didn't even have any gear on or anything. They say the woman they saved was trapped and suffered serious injuries. Investigators say the fire was intentionally sent by Margaret Jane Benchama, who was arrested and charged with arson.
You might start seeing a fewer Starbucks shops around. After decades of constant growth, the chain now shrinking its presence, at least in major U.S. cities. The company says they plan to close about 400 locations. Remember, the downtown Rehoboth store is already closed. Starbucks says the closures are due to rising competition in saturated areas, remote work, and higher costs. And the holiday season does continue here, and so does our holiday house.
We love showing off your decorations. We have one to show you now. This is from Chris Murray in Frankfurt. Really nice red and green display there, feeling festive. I like it.
And I like the foreground, background. You got a lot happening there. I like what we're seeing.
Well done.
We do want to see how you're decking the halls. Send us your photos, your videos by going to coasttv.com/holidayhouse. We just might show them on TV. We'll be right back.
Still very cold outside, although this is nothing compared to the cold that's on the way. 47 for us in Dover. Wind advisory active for all inland areas. Watching out for 35-mile-per-hour winds. That's going to stay active until Tuesday, probably extended a bit. Gale wind warning also in effect off of the shore. That's talking about 45 to 50-mile-per-hour winds. So it's going to be breezy no matter where you're located. You're going to feel the thunder off of this wind. By the way, our umbrella winner, Linda Taylor of Snow Hill. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling. And by the way, you can keep up with your forecast and all this wind by calling our weather line. The number to call is 443-880-9100. The forecast is just a call away, and we keep that updated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Windy and cold tomorrow, then the new year hits, and then that cold that I'm stretching over like that, Charlie, I meant that.
We know you did.
I see.
We believe you.
I see that.
Thank you, Paul, and thanks for joining us here at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.